Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a sound check and a video check. Can you hear and can you see me for those that are on the webinar?
I can hear.
Fantastic.
Got it, Phil.
All right. Welcome, Bill and Bill, Barbara, Carrie, and we have several others don't have a name for that are just callers in from the Idaho area. Jesse and Steve, welcome to the webinar here tonight. This is our first time doing this webinar, and it's a pleasure to be on with you. I wanted to do a special shout out for Rick Anson for putting all of this together, and for Jesse to organize this, and Carrie for her help in organizing the technology as well. This is our first time doing this technology, so it's only going to get better from here. So thank you for being on with us, and thank you for being patient. It is a fantastic time to be involved with Wakaya Perfections. I'm very excited about it. Let me give you a little bit of background about me, and then we're going to talk about Wakaya Perfection and what it is. My name is Blake Graham, and I've been in network marketing for about 24 years now. I had my start back when I was in pre-med at the university, and it was then that I came across a company that was opening up in Japan, and I had lived in Japan and speak some Japanese, and I was translating for some of the distributors. And what really impressed me, but all the way back then, is that even though in pre-med there was no nutrition in medicine, we were taught in 8 years of medical school, we'd get one 30-minute lecture on nutrition with no test. The information is actually rampant in medical journals. And so for any of those that are interested in looking up and seeing what is the research in medical journals, you can actually look up at pubmed.gov and see the research on turmeric, the research on ginger, the research on any number of things, even the calcium bentonite clay. The information's out there. Well, I got my start in the industry 24 years ago, and I worked hard for about 4 years, had a great part-time income for what I thought was more of a full-time effort. In other words, it didn't go for me like I expected it to. But when a few years later, excuse me, after 4 years of working with that company, Todd Smith invited me to work with him in a new operation, and we spent 19 years working together, and it was a world of difference. Folks, in only 2 years, we had literally 70 times the volume that I had in 4 years with that other company. And I say that not to make you impressed on what was happening then, but really to point to the timing now with Wakaya Perfection, because after 19 years with that, Todd came across an opportunity. We're going to tell you about this Wakaya Perfection, put it together, and you realize in the first full month of sales, Wakaya Perfection has done more than we had done after 13 years, the same amount of volume it took us 13 years to create in the previous company. So let's talk a little bit about that. Okay, first of all, Wakaya Perfection was started by David Gilmour, and David Gilmour is not a millionaire. He is a billionaire. He is a serial entrepreneur. He started many various companies, including a very successful hotel chain, and one of the ones that we're probably most familiar that you can see on the screen is Fiji Water. Well, the culmination of all of his years, he realized that health is such a major issue, and he came across an island all the way back in 1972, never been polluted, off the coast, about 100 miles off the coast of Fiji, and he purchased this island, and he realized he wanted to provide a way for the people that lived on this island to be able to go off to college if they wanted to go off to college. Obviously not there on the island, but go off, whether it was to America or be able to do more things, to provide opportunities there without ever having pollution on the island. He wanted them to be kind of self-sufficient. And so he started a brand of products that fit with the resort he had founded there, the resort and spa, and he called it Wakaya Perfection. And this became a phenomenal brand that was recognized by some of the top people in the health industry. Now, when I say top people, we're talking about, we'll mention this in just a minute, on where it was recognized from. But the top escalons, the top chefs in America, Oprah, for example, they looked at this, they loved the product, but when they put it in stores, one of the things that they were challenged with is they didn't sell as much as they could produce. They could outproduce what the sales were. Well, that's when actually Todd Smith, who I had the pleasure of working with for 19 years, when he was introduced to David Gilmour, and he said, for a product line like this, you really need to marry incredible products with word of mouth advertising, with the ability to explain and educate. And that's when together they launched Wakaya Perfection as a network marketing company. Now, again, these are products that were already featured on many places, including Forbes and Town and Country, Shape, NBC, Cosmopolitan. You see Oprah's there. It's actually selected twice in Oprah's magazines as two of her favorite things. And Fox News, National Geographic, Bloomingdale's, Access Hollywood, Los Angeles Times. There's a lot of places that recognize this just because of how high of quality the products were. And when you look at what these products were, really this was the mission statement. You see here some of the Fijian pink ginger. You're not going to see ginger like this that grows anywhere else other than this island. But they wanted to take the riches of this island and bring it to the rest of the world. And one of the things we realize is from the standpoint of a need, if you would. We live in a toxic environment. I mean, how many of us have heard of genetically modified food? Or how about Monsanto or pesticides or herbicides? How about prescription medication and all of the toxins that sometimes get into our water supply? Electromagnetic radiation, steroids, plastics, or herbicides. Digestive issues and deadly allergies, blood sugar issues, obesity epidemic. These are things that are affecting everyone in society today. I mean, you can't really live in our society without being exposed to some of these toxins. And we are the wealthiest and most medically advanced nation in the world. And unfortunately, we don't have the best health. We actually spend a lot of our years being sick. And what you see is there's all sorts of diseases on the rise, long-term care on the rise. So we have to say, is there a better way? Is there something we can do about it? And that is kind of the beginning of what's called the Detox Revolution. Many of you have heard of detox. Now, I look at this and say there's really a pillar of what it takes for our bodies to be healthy, okay? When you think of detox, we talked about cell phones. Everybody's heard that cell phone radiation isn't good for you, but yet we still carry cell phones. And when I talk on my phone, I'm not holding it way out here, way out here, so that it stays away from me. I'm actually right up against my head. And when I do that, folks, unfortunately, we're exposed to toxins. We're exposed to different things in life. In fact, if you want to look at oxygen, anybody heard of oxidation? Sure. Even exposure to oxygen can create toxins, but it's not like we want to give up oxygen. I mean, nobody lives long by giving up oxygen, do they? No. But fortunately, our bodies have a way to protect ourselves, and that's called detox. Our body has a number of mechanisms, whether it's the liver, it's our skin, it's our intestines. We have ways to detox. And what happens is when we use natural substance to help boost the body's ability to get rid of the stuff that's harmful, our bodies do so much better. I want you to think of it this way. Has anybody ever been around in a dirty car? You ever had your car get dirty? I mean, I've got 3 little kids. I know what dirty cars are, right? Whether it's the seats, the floors, all around, the car's dirty. You drive during a rainstorm, you come back, the whole car seems like it's covered in mud. And you just don't feel as good with the dirty car. But what happens when you get it cleaned? What happens when you get it washed, when you get it vacuumed out? It just feels better. It's the same thing with our bodies. When our cells are gunked up, when our immune system's gunked up, it doesn't function as well as it should. And when we get rid of the toxins, when it's cleaner, when we have a better, cleaner environment, you know what? Our bodies function better. And it's that simple principle. And one of the things that's wonderful about this, it's not just detox, it's digestion. Anybody heard that if digestion isn't working, that no matter what kind of supplement you take, it's not going to get the best bang for your buck? And with right now, what's happening with our food supply, with Monsanto and GMO food, we're having more digestion issues than ever before. I mean, 20 years ago, did we even hear about gluten-free or gluten intolerance or celiac or Crohn's disease? No, we rarely heard about it. They were definitely the exception when it comes to healthcare. And now, folks, it's the norm. We have a reason that we've got to improve digestion and detox. And that introduces to the Wakaya product line. And when we talk about Wakaya and the principles here, we want to help our bodies with the foundations of health, and that's digestion and detox. If you can help your body do better at absorbing nutrients and do better getting rid of toxins, better things in, get the bad things out, your body's going to be more effective. And that's the whole pillar of how these products work. And it wasn't something that we designed that way. It was actually something that really came into this island. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But we look at a whole detox system. We've taken the wonders of the Wakaya Island, this beautiful volcanic ash grown in these incredible products out of the Wakaya Island, and we've added to them. We've added the calcium bentonite clay, which is incredible at pulling toxins out of the body. The Bulu bottles, which is a great delivery system for actually giving nutrients into the body, is just we drink more water throughout our day. And we know we drink more water, our body's going to function better, right? We've all heard hydration is such a key. We wanted to have a big shout out to Rick Hansen because he is the developer of this. And these Bulu bottles, I tell you, Pepsi and Coca-Cola both show extreme interest in it, but he knew he wanted it for more than just flavoring. He wanted this to be a way that we can actually get nutrients into the body. And it's amazing when you talk about nutrient delivery. You can take some like things in capsules, get it all at once, but you can also take nutrients and spread them out through the day. So every time you take a drink of water, you're getting those nutrients in it. And that's some of the magic of these Bulu bottles. And I love this detox system, and I love that it's called a daily detox, okay? A daily detox just meaning that, folks, it's not this kind of detox where you're going to be sitting in the restroom for, 3 days to 3 weeks. It's not that kind of detox. It's something you can do every single day. And if you do it every single day and your cells are cleaner every single day, guess what? You function better every single day. Now let's talk about this Bula line and just a few more things about it. Some of the magic of Wakaya Perfection is here in this these Bula bottles, but this is 100% organic flavorings and ingredients. We have a daily detox, which helps to detox the body. We have metabolism and weight loss support. We're actually launching in the development stages of launching an entire weight loss program, and we're really excited to be unveiling that. Probiotic digestive support, and these are just regular probiotics. These are actually some of the cutting edge probiotics that really make a difference with people's digestion. We've got sleep support that's called the night caps, and even love caps, which is for libido support there. To that, another product, and one of the products, one of my favorite products, is this calcium bentonite clay. Now, we talked about the Bula bottles. Bula bottles you can try, you can taste. It's great. It's great to use right away. But also, this calcium bentonite clay, I do it time and time again where we have people rub it on the back of their hand. And when I do a meeting or a presentation, and in 10 minutes when it dries and they wash it off, their skin just feels amazing. It's amazing the difference. I've been doing that on the back of this hand because I always rub it with my right hand, do it on the back of my left hand, just at presentations. And I think after 5 presentations, about the two to three a week, after just 2 weeks on it, I was looking at my hand, and this is not when I was doing a pack, actually before I was going to do the pack, and I was seeing a difference in my skin. If you can pull toxins out, your body's metabolism is going to do better. When the skin regenerates faster, it's going to look younger. It's going to feel younger. And a lot of things happen. It's like pulling the toxins away. So now everything that works cleaner. And that's one of the things I love. You can do this on your face. I tell you, I have a wife that is, well, some people call themselves real particular about skincare, right? I had one gentleman call himself a skincare snob, if you would. But my wife is one of those that's very particular. It didn't matter what products we might have had in the company. If she had a skincare line that she really liked, that's exactly what she used. And so for years, she's been using this line of products out of Korea. Even though, in the previous company, we had some skincare products. She was using those products from Korea because that's what she liked. And when we were introduced to Wakaya Perfection and I took her some of this clay, it took me a couple weeks to convince her to use it. She's like, no, I've got this pack and I put it on. It's a paper pack and it's easy to peel off. Why do I want to put something on my face that I have to wash off afterwards, right? And it took me 2 weeks of talking with her where she finally tried it. I said, just try it. I just want to know what you think, right? Like it or hate it, just tell me. And she tried it. And 2 weeks it took me to convince her. The next day I went home and she had just done another pack. And she did another one. And she did another one. And it's been like 8 days since she first tried it. I mean, it's not where it hasn't been that long. And in that time, she's probably used it 7 times, folks. It's just amazing how your skin feels when you get rid of the toxins. And so this is one of those products that's a high impact, one that you can tell the differences right away. I actually had one lady that had come and she had an injury and they did some neck surgery, had a lot of pain and inflammation, like a surgery gone wrong, right? Horrible inflammation. She came in and used it and actually helped bring down the swelling enough that in 10 minutes she saw a difference in her pain level. Now, we're not saying necessarily that this is going to fix everything, but what we are saying, take the toxins out and your cells are going to do better. That's what we're saying. Try it for yourself and see the difference. See why we're so excited about this. And we're just mentioning the clay here for a pack. We have it in a moisturizer. We have it in a shampoo and conditioner. We also have stuff that we're starting to use internally, and I love the difference that it makes when you can pull the toxins out from the food you eat. And there's the next thing is really where Wakaya Perfection started when it started. And it was with these two magical roots. Everybody's heard of ginger, and the other one is turmeric. Well, these, when we look at ginger, ginger is one of those substances, one of those herbs that can make a huge difference in digestion. Many people talk about it when they have nausea or motion sickness, right? But imagine that we could heal the digestive tract. And we don't know all of the different compounds in ginger, but we do know that there's this magical compound called gingerol. And the ginger on this island of Wakaya was 3 times stronger than any other gingerol on the market. Not only that, when it comes to processing, I don't know if you've ever seen powdered ginger or processed ginger. Most of the time it's processed at 226 degrees Fahrenheit. Wakaya Perfection, 76 degrees. You know what happens? You heat things up. What happens to most organic compounds? Yeah, they break down, whether it's vitamins, essential fatty acids, or amino acids. They break down in heat. The herbs break down in heat. We don't add the heat. The other thing that's amazing is a lot of ginger is just grown. You're going to get a lot out of China, unfortunately. And whatever is in the soil and whatever they irrigate with, and it's not always clean water, folks. When that happens, it's what gets in the plant, and that's what we're exposed to. This is 100% pure, never been contaminated, the Fijian soil of Wakaya. And it's just rich volcanic soil, and some amazing things happen. Now, to that, we've added turmeric. And this is another one naturally grown. Now, I should have mentioned that the pink Fijian ginger, the species that we use, the type of ginger, isn't grown anywhere else in the entire world, only on the island of Wakaya. And that's perhaps part of the power to it. The other thing that's incredibly powerful, we looked at turmeric. You know, turmeric has 3 basic compounds that they look at for this curcumins that make a big difference in how effective the turmeric is. Most turmeric will specialize in one. This turmeric actually happens to have all 3 compounds. And not only does it have 3, folks, these 3 compounds are 6 times stronger than you see any turmeric on the market. You add to that the processing difference, and you can see, well, even people who have taken turmeric for years, when they try the Wakaya Perfection turmeric, they feel a difference. And we've seen many benefits of turmeric. This is one you can go to PubMed.gov, just type in turmeric and see literally over 1,000 articles that are in medical journals about this incredible herb because of all the different things that it's known to do. But imagine that you had some way to help the body digest and detox better. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with herbs, but many people have heard something called standardized herbs. Standardized herbs are kind of the low mat on the totem pole. Okay. The next one is organic herbs. And the standardized, they can still be grown with pesticides. They can still be grown with chemicals. Organic, they can't be. So you've gone from commercial grade or a standardized grade to an organic grade, and it's a better grade because there's less pollutants. Well, you know what's better than organic? Anybody that's familiar with the herbal world, the world of herbs, the highest one, even higher than organic, is something called wildcrafted. And the reason it's called wildcrafted is rather than growing in a greenhouse, when it grows with other plants around it, those plants impact it. In fact, I had a master herbalist explain that if you see poison oak or poison ivy, you know, within a yard, 3 feet away from it, you'll probably see the antidote to poison oak or poison ivy, naturally grown in the wild. It impacts it, right? That's how Mother Nature works. That's how the good Lord designed this world. Well, here on this island, when they plant it, they plant a row of ginger and then a row of turmeric, then another row of ginger, another row of turmeric. And what that does is it synergizes it. You get the effects of the environment around it, the ginger and the turmeric working together. And then after they harvest, they let that field lie fallow for a year. They don't force more and more growth. They let it kind of rejuvenate the bacteria that helps to break down the minerals in the soil. It goes to work and helps to do that, and it rests so that it prepares the soil so they can do it again. And that's what they do. They do it for a year, then they go and do it in a different place, and do it in a different place. And they let it, every time they harvest, they let it rest there. And when we put these 2 herbs together, I tell you, digestion and detox, I've been in the nutritional industry now for 24 years. The previous company I was with for 19 years. Those that are familiar with that company probably know that one of the things I tried to specialize in is product education. How do we help people understand the products and understand health? And I've had the opportunity to interview literally dozens and dozens of very professional people, including people who nominated people for the Nobel Prizes in medicine. I've had the opportunity to do that for 19 years, been involved with some fantastic products, but never have I seen products that are working as quickly as this, especially with those that have bad digestion. I mean, with the other previous company, there were people with bad digestion that would literally use $500, $600, $1,000 a month. And when they added just these two wonderful herbs that help with digestion and detox, we're seeing literally within 4 or 5 days for some of them and 2 weeks on the outset, but people were feeling the difference. When your body's digestion and detox, when you absorb better and get rid of toxins better, guess what? Everything works better. And that's the foundation of what we do. These two perfect, that's what makes these different. It's not like anything else in the market. So if you're one of those that's ever had a health challenge, if you're one of those that struggle with inflammation, if you're one of those that knows that you could use more digestion help, give it a shot. What have you got to lose other than toxins, right? What have you got to lose but toxins? Give it a shot and see how your body feels when you give it what it needs. Now, to that, there are some other incredible products on the island, some of which are already have been released and some of which are still in the processing stage. Kava has been great. We're not going to talk about kava because that's one of those that's still in the development stage. But sea salt, everybody's heard the beauty of sea salt, but how about getting it from a source that's never been polluted? You know, a lot of times when you're harvesting salt, whatever was in the seawater, that's in the sea salt. So getting a pure one, that could be incredibly good. And the next one is Delo cream. They actually have this special fruit that grows on Wakaya. A fruit, or some people call it a nut, but it drops off on the beaches, and the crabs eat the shell, and the seed or the nut of it then is taken for processing. They pull this oil up that's incredible for supporting healthy skin. And I tell you, I have a wife that, again, she's been very particular about skincare. Whenever there's a skin problem, she's got this special prescription grade cosmetic product from Japan. That's where my wife is from, is Japan. But I took her the Delo cream and she tried the Delo cream. And again, it took me a little bit of time, but when she tried it, she's now using it. My daughters are 4 and 7, and they're getting it out and rubbing it on because they like how they feel with this one. They like how their skin is. They like how well it helps the body. Well, it helps support healthy skin. You can take it any different way, but when you give the body what it needs, it does some amazing things to regenerate it itself. Now, next one is essential oils. We've seen a lot of essential oils, and when you look at essential oils, from whatever company it may be, there's 2 things you're going to look at. 2, okay? Number 1, where is it from? Because lavender grown in Utah is not the same as lavender grown in France, right? The soil, the climate, all of that makes an impact on it. Lavender grown in a greenhouse versus lavender grown in the wild, there's going to be a difference there, right? But not only do you look at the source, and the number 2 thing is you look at the purity. And if you get the pristine source with 100% pure, now a lot of companies say we use pure oils, but they're not pure oils. They like to mix it with something. They call them carriers, right? But you can say they mix it with something. So you might get 20% oil, 80% carrier. You know, one of the things that makes this unique is when they're using these oils, it's not just where is it from and is it pure? And I've had the opportunity to work with some incredible oils. I've seen some great oil, essential oil products. But the third element that I've never seen with another company is something that a lot of practitioners know. The healthcare practitioners know that oils are a great carrier of energy. They're great for frequencies. I don't know if anybody's seen people doing the frequency testing, but oils carry frequencies really well. And they actually imbue the frequencies of the Wakaya Islands in the U.S. to kind of charge them. Now, I don't understand all the science on that. I've seen enough to know that there is science to it, but let me just say this. These are one of those that we can get great results with. They actually have these not only in the individual oils, but in some blends that are in roller balls that you can just rub it on your shoulder, or if you're having allergies, maybe you put it on your neck or on the lymph nodes, and some people put it across their forehead or on their chest. And within literally just a couple minutes, they're feeling a difference. That's what we're talking about. And when you look at products, what makes a great product? Products you can feel the difference with. And so I invite you to do this with the oils. One of my favorites is the peppermint. And I was with a company, had great peppermint oil. I loved the smell. It was so good. But this one was even better. And I didn't think you could get any better. But I guess that extra step, maybe that's what it does it. But it's just an incredible oil product. And again, this goes back to the philosophy. Now, we call it product perfection, but David Gilmour says if you're going to build a company and you want a company that lasts, and especially in our society today where we're bombarded with so many different options, right? What things stand out? And he says you want to do more than be good, you want to be perfect. And so product perfection, it's a theme, and you're not always going to get there. He says, but you should always strive. When good isn't good enough, that's when you're striving for product perfection. I love that with these Wakaya Perfection products, and I love the difference that it's making with me and my family. Now, some of these products there, folks, they're just great things to eat. These are products that my 2-year-old, with no product training, watching no videos, no DVDs, didn't go to any seminars. He knew how to eat the popcorn and the ginger snap cookies, and he loves them. And I love that it's healthy for him. And when you have the right ingredients in there, it makes a difference. People feel the difference